The Dilla and Washougal were not Carmichael's cup of tea, but he took a big swig out of Millville and claimed a 1-1 sweep. What will Carmichael pull off today at Binghamton? And we welcome you to Binghamton, New York. This is the AMA Chevy Trucks U.S. Motocross Championship. And hello once again, everybody. Todd Harris along with the champ David Bailey and Cameron Steele. Welcome to Broome Tioga Sports Complex. It is round number 10 and things are starting to fall into place. David Bailey, Ricky Carmichael has a full race lead. No title to be wrapped up today, but he sure is getting close.
Well, he's on pace to wrap it up at the next round at Delmont, but here we are back to New York, the dark loam, the big hills. Good track for a 450.
See a lot of people sporting the chest protectors and hand guards. Quite the rocky course, though, they'll be facing today.
It's a lot different than what we saw at Millville. There's no sand here. It's all that dark New York loam. They've added some wood chips to the track to keep the moisture in. There's also some rocks out there, but we still have those hills we had at Millville.
There you see the 63-point lead Ricky Carmichael has on Kevin Windham. Chad Reed currently sitting in third. Right now, let's check in with Cameron Steele.
Well, guys, no jokes about me being the weatherman. I'm out here to tell you about the weather because it's not real hot, it's not real cold. It's about 75 degrees. I live in Southern California. That's what it feels like. Ricky Carmichael says he's at his best advantage when the weather is hot, it's ugly out, it's real rough. The track may be rough, but it's not hot out, so it's going to be an advantage to the other riders who may not have the same conditioning that Ricky does. We'll see what happens. They're getting set to go out for moto number 1 in the 250s.
Cameron, well done. You are the Willard Scott with hair. And there's the temperature, 75 degrees, 10% humidity, partly cloudy. David, this is the exact opposite of what we had in Millville. I think the fans and the riders will appreciate it. As we take a look at our Suzuki starting grid, there they are, Carmichael, Windham, Reed, Ferry, LaRocco, all the usual suspects. On a course like today, David, is there one rider who this course favors?
Favors Ricky Carmichael. They all do, but I think this, unlike last week, the conditions here and the weather is going to be a little bit better for Kevin Windham. So I'm anxious to see if he's able to get back in there and give Ricky a little bit of pressure.
30 board is sideways, and we are racing in Binghamton, New York. Moto number 1 in the 250 class. Number 14, Kevin Windham emerges from the pack in the front. He'll get the whole shot with Ricky Carmichael right off his backside.
And they went through that corner like it was the last lap. Ricky around the outside, so aggressive, already pitching the bike sideways to stay low. Any little advantage to attack Kevin right away and let him know that, hey, last week, get used to it. Everyone's going to get beat from now on. I think he was irritated with those 4 moto losses, and he's coming right back and challenging Kevin.
Here comes Carmichael to the inside. He takes over the lead from Windham. Windham slides into second place. So the two Hondas going 1 and 2 with Carmichael, your leader. Kevin Windham in second place. And this is shaping up to be a great battle. The folks here at Broome Tioga are certainly going to get their money's worth.
Now the big part, I think, for Ricky is just, besides wanting to reestablish himself as the leader of this pack, and those 4 motos, that was a fluke. Those were good tracks for you. But the rest of these tracks, buddy, I'm going to beat you. The other reason is that you want to stay out of those rocks. And I noticed that Kevin's line is just a few feet off to one side or the other, so he doesn't get beat up with rocks the whole time.
Windham trying to stay out of the roost of Ricky Carmichael. What I like about this, though, is Windham is not losing him. And look at this. Windham goes to the inside, a perfect line, gets on the throttle. Here he comes out of it. Carmichael back in his position, but this is going to be a great race. Kevin Windham is not being dropped by Carmichael.
Ricky protecting that inside. So hard to get stopped for that corner, and again you see that Kevin's just crossing over the line, back and forth of Carmichael. If you get behind and get hit by one of those rocks, I broke a finger there, and had my lens pop out of my goggles from getting hit in the face. And I love this new section, big air time, a lot of speed. That does remind me a little bit of Millville. I talked about that the track's a lot different. The hill is about the only thing that I can see that is the same, but the soil is completely different. That deep, loamy stuff, I think good for Kevin.
Well, this is a fantastic spectators viewing venue here at Broome Tioga. As David pointed out, that long speed straightaway, big air. Carmichael and Windham both airing it out, and the two Hondas are having their own private battle. Kevin Windham in second, Ricky Carmichael, your leader here in moto number 1.
Kevin already starting to lose some time, and I think he's trying to figure out, let's see, let me try to keep an eye on Ricky, see what's going on, get a feel for the pace, stay out of the rocks.
Here's the pass, David.
He's a little sloppy at the moment, losing time. Ricky just muscling his way in there going, yeah, whatever. You think you're going to come back and rebound after a bad week, and I'm here to tell you that it's just going to be a little harder than you thought.
Carmichael leads Wyndham into the foliage here at Broome Tioga Sports Complex. We have got a great race, and give Kevin Wyndham credit, David. He is not losing sight of Ricky Carmichael, something that most of the crowd is unable to do.
Well, this is the lap, or the section rather, where he got so close to Ricky before, different lines. About the same as he was the lap before. Ricky protecting that inside still. Kevin's got to do something pretty amazing to put a pass on him here.
This time Wyndham hard to the outside, crosses over Carmichael's line. Does he have the drive coming up the hill? Unbelievable. Carmichael staying on the inside, holds him off. But Wyndham is right there. Kevin Wyndham, he is on the 4-stroke. Carmichael on the 2-stroke. Both of them riding Hondas as they make their way down to the speed zone.
They dropped out of sight there. It looked like Kevin was flying a little too far to the right. But you know what I like to see here is that Ricky went out and just decided, okay, I'm going to get this lead. Looked like anyway, he's going to get the lead and just try to pull away and break the spirit of Kevin. But they've dropped third place. The crowd is into it. Kevin is putting the pressure right back on Ricky. So he needed that first lap to get sorted out, figure out some lines he was going to use to be able to stay within contact with Ricky without getting roosted. It seems to be working right now.
How appropriate that our top 2 overall in the standings are out there having their private battle here in Binghamton, New York. Round number 10. Kevin Wyndham, who sits 2nd overall and has 2 overall victories on the circuit this year, and Ricky Carmichael, your leader.
I see Ricky make a little mistake right there, getting into that soft berm. You don't usually see him get caught like that, a little bit off guard, but maybe he's being pushed a little bit outside of his comfort zone right now. I don't know if he'll be able to respond to this. I mean, I know he can continue to go this pace, but I think he went out as fast as he could go. I don't think he's got much more than that. If Kevin realizes that, that should do a lot for his confidence.
I think this is working on the psyche of Ricky Carmichael, who usually is able to check out and drop guys. He's unable to shake Kevin Wyndham.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. He's got a little sideways right there. I think he's starting to think about what he has to do to hold Kevin back instead of just going fast.
So Carmichael has to continue to listen to the loud thumping sound of that 4-stroke that sits about a bike length off his back fender. And Kevin Wyndham, number 14 on board the Honda, is making life miserable in Binghamton for Ricky Carmichael right now. And usually it's the other way around. Look at Wyndham. There he goes. He gets the pass done.
Still goes
wide. Oh, and Carmichael goes down. David, just too much speed coming down that hill.
Yeah, here goes Villeman into 2nd place. Here comes Reed, now the entire team Yamaha. A couple of the guys getting by him, so that'll really make it tough on Ricky to try to get back up and win this moto. He put himself in position to win the overall, but the way Wyndham was riding early there, I have to think he's gone now.
So Wyndham is your new leader. David Villeman inherits 2nd, and Chad Reed goes into 3rd. Ricky Carmichael in 4th. Let's look at it one more time.
Wyndham so strong through this section. Kept getting close. The first 2 laps he was close. Finally puts the pass on him. And then he's brave enough to go to the outside and just sort of tease Ricky a little bit, like, yeah, go ahead and come on in for the block pass if you want. But Ricky decided right there, I better not make contact, got really hard onto the brakes. And he fell as a result of charging in there a little bit hard, but also trying to stay off of Kevin Wyndham, not run into him.
Well, give Ricky credit, though. The bike stayed running, so he didn't have to kick it over. Meanwhile, Thomas has checked out. We'll have to find out what's going on with him. Your running order: Wyndham, Villeman, Reed, and Carmichael, the top 4, will return to Binghamton, New York after this short break. And we welcome you back to Broome Tioga Sports Complex in Binghamton, New York for round number 10 of the AMA Chevy Trucks U.S. Motocross Championships. Todd Harris along with the champ David Bailey and Cameron Steele. Ricky Carmichael making his move back up after the pass by Wyndham and then the fall. Right now it is Chad Reed who sits just in front of Carmichael.
Ricky just looking desperate right now. He's all over the racetrack trying to stay out of the roost. Reed is now on a much bigger bike, throwing a bigger roost. Flat landing that jump down there by the mechanics, but it put him in position to make this pass. Just unbelievable aggressiveness from Ricky right now, who probably is feeling like, you know, if I can get back to the pace that I was running and maybe even a little bit more intensity on top of it, which is the wake-up call he has, maybe he can still catch Wyndham. And he didn't lose a position to Ferry, although Ferry took a look down the inside on the downhill. Ricky getting in there as fast as he could go, locking it up, and then to get by Chad Reed. Went around the inside of the corner down there just after the finish line, and didn't look like a very good line, but it put him in position to get around the outside. Now he's closing on Villeman, who's having a decent moto so far.
David Villeman, number 12 on the Team Yamaha ride, currently sits in second place behind Kevin Windham. Ricky Carmichael now moving up to third, and he is just getting completely roosted.
That hurts. They've done so much with this place, though. Since I used to race here, this downhill was all dry and rocks the size of baseballs everywhere. Now look at the signage and what they've done with the soil on the racetrack, the crowd. They've trimmed all the trees up. The place is spectacular. And you know what? It wasn't too long ago a tornado came through here and ripped it to shreds. Tore the ticket booth and flew off into the woods. They had to do a lot of work to get this place back running straight. And same for the last round of the series at Troy. There's a lot of work there. Mother Nature really taking its toll on this venues this year.
Speaking of tornadoes, Ricky Carmichael is whipping one up right now on the Cobra, and he goes right past Villeman. So Carmichael gets back into second place. Now the mission at hand is tracking down your leader, Kevin Windham. Windham already with 2 overalls on the day, and Carmichael looking good in second place. Villeman will try to stay with him.
Villeman getting a little lesson there and had to triple down that hill. You see Kevin coming back the other way. So he's not that far ahead, but Villeman just a little glance to his left, sees that Ricky is right there, takes him a little bit out of his concentration. It landed, got sideways in those ruts, is all Ricky needed, but I don't think he needed that much help right there. He was on the inside. It's pretty obvious to me he was going to force his way into second place. Tripled down that downhill. Haven't seen anybody do that yet other than Villeman out front. Reed's taking a couple of looks at it, but that's where Ricky's separated himself from the pack in the past few years, tripling down that downhill, and he's right back to it now.
So Yamaha right now runs 3, 4, and 5 with Villeman, Reed, and Ferry now getting to the fray. Ferry and Reed, as David pointed out, both riding the big 4-stroke. And here comes number 11 on the Kawasaki. That's Ezra Lusk.
Looks like Ezra's riding hard, but it's tough this year. You've got to ride a lot more than just hard. You've got to have incredible intensity, great starts. It's got to be consistent, or you just don't get a look at the front anymore. The podium, it's as hard to finish on the podium anymore as it is to get a win, it seems like. And not quite the outdoor season that Ezra had last year, but still showing signs of speed.
Behind him is number 21 on board the Suzuki. That's Stefan Roncada. Good to see him up and riding. I'm sure Roger DeCoster is very happy with the performance that Roncada is turning in.
Another rider that, like Lusk, we're just never sure who's going to show up. If it's going to be the Stefan with his A game or the Stefan that's just there having a good time. Both these guys, though, are capable of going so fast and running up front for a little while. I don't think they quite have what Wyndham's got or what Ricky has when they really turn it up, but capable of finishing on the podium, no doubt. Now they got pressure from LaRocco, who always seems to work his way forward. Once you got him catching you, you know he's not going to leave you alone.
6, 7, and 8. It's Lusk, Roncada, and LaRocco. LaRocco having a slight bobble there as they come back up the hill, gets stuck in a rut. Roncada gaps him just a little bit and airs it out, but here comes Iron Mike. Meanwhile, back to the front, this is your leader, Moto number 1, 250 class, Kevin Windham. Remember, he got the whole shot. Carmichael took the lead, and then Windham took it back before Carmichael fell. Carmichael fell back to 4th and has worked his way back up to 2nd. But Kevin Windham has rode a great race, David. He has shown a lot of maturity. He doesn't panic. He just rides his race, and so far it has been fantastic. Meanwhile, Ezra Lusk really getting on the gas.
Yeah, it's like I said, he's very aggressive. Probably realizes that LaRocco's coming up, and if he can check out and have, hopefully, Roncada hold LaRocco up a little bit, then he won't have to deal with him for as long, if at all.
No one wants to deal with Iron Mike because he is so tenacious, gets after it. Right now he's having a problem just picking the right line, and Roncada is feeling the pressure of number 5. The native of Indiana on board his Honda is really making Roncada work for every turn.
Yeah, he just forced his way in. Stefan knew he was coming. If Stefan had tripled over that big jump back there, they probably could have prevented that.
So LaRocco moves ahead of Stefan Roncada. Now he'll go to work on Ezra Lusk. Look at it one more time.
LaRocco just down to the inside, identical to the pass that Carmichael put on Windham for the lead on the opening lap. Down the inside of that straightaway is a big advantage. Now LaRocco's got clean sailing up to Ezra Lusk. He was trying to get rid of him, but I don't think it's going to work.
There's your running order from Binghamton. Windham your leader, Carmichael in 2nd. Back in just a moment. If someone ever makes a motocross dictionary under the word style and technique, you'll probably find photos of David Bailey as the examples. His fluid riding style was a result of the perfect mixture of natural talent and countless hours of instruction from his father, Gary Bailey, the self-proclaimed professor of motocross. David started out riding a Bull Taco, switched over to a Kawasaki as a privateer, then worked his way onto Team Honda. In a career tragically cut short by injury, David earned 30 major wins in AMA motocross and supercross, on his way to 4 championship titles. He also helped lead Team USA to 5 dominant wins in the annual Motocross of the Nations in Europe. David Bailey's biggest victory, and certainly the hardest to earn, came after his accident. Confined to a wheelchair, Bailey won the Ironman Triathlon in Hawaii, flat tire and all. During his motocross career, David was the consummate professional, a good role model and a student of the sport. Those traits led to a second career as an ESPN color analyst for AMA motocross and supercross. When he's not on the road covering the races or teaching one of his motocross schools, David Bailey lives with his wife Gina and their 2 children, Sean and Jennifer, in French Valley, California. Welcome back to Binghamton, New York. Now, David, I knew you always had the style and the grace, but winning the Ironman, that's impressive. As we look at your file, that's some good stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with motocross that much, but I'd like to see it in that box, actually, because it was harder than any of these titles physically. Nothing ever compared to that.
We are on the final lap. Moto number 1, your leader, number 14, Kevin Windham in second place. Just coming through is Ricky Carmichael. So Carmichael has 1 lap to try to reel in Kevin Windham. Now, Windham is not without proclivity to falling himself, so Ricky needs to get up there and put some pressure on him.
Well, it's too late. And look, Windham's taking a look over to the right. You can see Ricky coming up the hill. He knows he's got enough cushion now that even if he stalled it, he could take his time, go through the checklist on getting that bike fired up. But Kevin, beautiful job to come back in and win. I was hoping that he wasn't going to get his spirit crushed so much in Millville with those losses that sort of ruined the rest of his series, But he's come right back and said, all right, that was just one weekend, and he's back. He ran out of gas completely at Millville. So did Billiman, for that matter. He's just back in third. So it's good to see both these guys recover and not let Ricky just close this thing out with ease.
Well, as we sit at the top of the show, it is very comfortable here at Binghamton. Temperatures in the mid-70s, no humidity to speak of, really. And it's quite a contrast in what we dealt with last week in Millville. The temperature was in the 90s, humidity close to 90%. Meanwhile, Kevin Windham on the white flag lap coming through, having to deal with some lapped riders, but Windham working his way through carefully. As Ricky Carmichael is still back there trying to push it. If you're Ricky Carmichael right now, David, is he already thinking about moto number 2 and making sure that he picks up the victory there? Yeah,
at this point he is. He doesn't give up as easy as some of the other riders that might give up a little sooner. But you still want to catch Windham if you can and let him know that, man, if he didn't fall, he might have beat me, because he was a lot. He's going to go back and look at the lap times. These guys will all look. And, Ricky needs to send Kevin something to worry about.
Well, Kevin Windham just now putting on a show for the folks here, Broome Tioga Sports Complex, Binghamton, New York. This is round number 10. Remember, he has 2 overall victories already. Ricky Carmichael, meanwhile, sits in second place, 8 seconds behind the leader. Now, he did fall, but it was after Kevin Windham had already put the pass on him. Ricky Carmichael did a great job of going from 4th back up to 2nd, so he will salvage quite a few points. And for Carmichael, it really comes down to the second moto. Kevin Windham, though, will celebrate in moto number 1 and a victory here at the Broome Tioga Sports Complex.
I think Kevin's very comfortable here at Broome Tioga. He's comfortable on this soil. Millville was a different deal. That's like the Daytona, for Ricky Carmichael and for the outdoors. But here, he's got a real challenge on his hands with Kevin Windham. He can still pick up the overall, but he won't pick up any more points.
So Ricky Carmichael has to settle for 2nd. Windham gets the victory. Back to Binghamton in just a moment. Welcome back to Binghamton, New York. It is a happy day thus far for Kevin Windham, David, as he picks up the victory in moto number 1. Didn't panic, waited for their opportunity, and made the pass on Carmichael.
Hey, everything's running right for him. I don't think Ricky's bothered by the loss, but I think he's bothered by the fact that Kevin passed him in the first place, and he needs to find some more speed for moto 2.
Carmichael has to settle for 2nd place, and I reiterate settle because he hates to lose. Right now, let's send it down to Cameron Steele, who's with our winner.
Well, Kevin, awesome race. I want to ask you about the changes to the track. Do you like them?
Well, it's a little bit less technical, but it's a fun section. A lot of airtime up there, and I won, so I guess I'm having a lot of fun out there.
You really like it that way. I want to ask you, at the beginning of the race, it looked like Ricky really wanted to get by you right away in the more Supercross section. Were you surprised how aggressive he was there? And is that what happened when he crashed?
You know, I didn't really see when he crashed. I was actually, we were side by side. The four-stroke's working great up the hills, the Michelin tires and Factory Connection. You know, all my sponsors really working well out there today. And I was actually beside him. He was on the inside of me, and he went down. I don't know what happened to him, but I know that he didn't want to get roosted by this big 450, and he was in a hurry to get up front. But once he was there, you know, I was like, hey, it's cool. Let's stick together, and we're going to battle it out. You know, I felt comfortable with the battle. I didn't think he was going to pull me, and would have been a good race either way.
I want to ask you about the track. Moto number 2 will be coming up soon. Is the track coming to you, coming to Ricky? Do either one of you guys have more of an advantage as it dries out and gets rougher?
Well, I think a lot of people say that the four-stroke gets good traction on harder tracks, and I think that it will get harder as the day goes on. But you know, all my sponsors are working so well together, and they give me the best bike, track after track after track after track. And Factory Connection, Honda, No Fear, Lee Dungaree jeans, Alpine Star boots, Arai helmet, Spy goggles, and Factory Connection. All those guys have just been working so hard to get me up here. It's paying off. Thanks a lot.
Awesome ride, Kevin.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Cameron. As we take a look at the Honda official results, it's Kevin Windham winning, followed by Ricky Carmichael, David Abilman, Chad Reed, and Tim Ferry rounding out the top 5. Ernesto Fonseca and Nathan Ramsey go 9 and 10. And Paul Carpenter getting in for an 11th place finish. Well done, Paul Carpenter from nearby Ithaca, New York. Right now, let's send it back down to Cameron Steele.
Well, Ricky, I'm not sure that you had the whole shot there. You guys were real close, but you got real aggressive right away in that technical section. Was it your idea to get in front of them where it was more technical so you can maybe have some space on the wide open areas where maybe the four-stroke was better?
Well, I just try to get out front, you know, and just, I wasn't trying to be too aggressive. I just want to get out front really quick. And, you know, I heard Kevin behind me. He's riding good, man. His bike's so good. And I was giving it heck, man. I was riding as hard as I could, and I fell down. And I need to figure something out for the second moto. You know, it's kind of cool today, so nobody's really going to get tired. So it's going to be a tough race. You know, everyone's going to be riding really, really hard, and see what we can do.
Well, the Cobra on the podium, last time we saw you were taking a power nap in the mechanics area. It looks like maybe that strategy worked for you. What was the difference this week, and what happened last week?
I know, I was sick last week, and you know, I passed out Sakamoto. It was a tough track, a lot of heat, humidity, and you know, I did some blood tests and everything is fine, and you know, I came here rested and tried to focus on the track, and you know, my Yamaha is working really good today, and got me a good start, and I'm really happy to be on the podium.
Congratulations on a third-place finish. Well done.
All right, thanks. I want to thank Yamaha, Fly Racing, and Oakley, Shark City Boots, and my wife and my kid at home and watching for me.
With 5 more moments.
Well, we'll remind you and Team Villeman, Erica and Charlotte at home that upcoming races include September 6th and 7th, Troy, Ohio, the final race of the 2003 outdoor season. And what a great season it has been as Yogi and his brain trust over at Kawasaki get together and try to figure out what they can do in Moto number 2. Right now it's time for the Racer X Pit Pass. Well, as Chad Reed gets set for Moto number 2, earlier in the day, our Cameron Steele had an opportunity to give us his best Kevin Windham impersonation, and it took place in the Sobi Suzuki Fast Lap.
Well, people, it's that time of the race where I get to make you jealous, put the camera on my helmet, take you out and show you the track. That's right, it's time for the Sobi Suzuki Fast Lap. The thing I want to point out to you guys here at Binghamton is there's been water on the track and there's tons of ruts. I don't like to ride in the ruts because we don't have them in California, so I'm going to have to pick my lines carefully, as will all the racers. Also want to point out there's a new section. It's really fast. I think it's going to favor the four-strokes a little bit, but hey, let's jump on board and have some fun riding dirt bikes. Get started with a pretty long start straight into a right-hand turn. You go over what will be the finish line and then a left-hander up into 2 uphill double jumps. go under the trees, make a right, downhill, big step down jump. That's going to take you into a super rutted left-hand turn towards the Supercross section. Set up here for a tabletop. Can be a triple. The big dogs be landing down here. Double out. Pick a line in the left-hand turn. You can see already running up. This is the rhythm section. Double, doubles for me. Triple, triple, triples for the big guys. And then a right-hand turn. It's kind of off camber. Here you have a sweeping, gooey left-hand turn into an uphill double jump. Don't want to overjump it. You're going to hurt your back. All the way up the hill, couple left-hand turns, and then it gets tricky. You got to drop down into a right horseshoe, back up over the hill, and then down once again, left hand off camber, setting you up for the big uphill and then the long downhill. Over this hill, look at these lines. Rust everywhere. They're deep. I'm going inside. Smooth there, but look at this setup. Big breaky bump, a big hole before, and slippery. Get past, this is terrible, look at the rocks. It's flying at you. Third gear over the top of this tabletop jump. Some air, land, and then look at the breaky bumps. They're like 2 feet tall. Careful, you're not gonna go over the bars there. And then this is a super booter. Hitting that wide open. It's gonna hurt if you land hard. Step down, didn't quite get it this time, and then sideline, cheater line to stay down. And that's gonna take you through these little whoop sections into the big super kicker jump, big whipper. After that big double, you got a left, and this is going to take you into the triple step down. A lot of guys are going to double, but some guys will triple. Then more braking bumps and a right-hand turn back up the hill, another left, and then that's going to put you into a little setup double, a G out, a tabletop past the start line, a right turn, and over the finish line for your Sobe Suzuki Fast Lap.
Thank you, Cameron. Stay with us when we come back. It's Chapter 2 of the Carmichael-Wyndham Battle from Binghamton, New York. Will Carmichael take the overall, or will it be Kevin Wyndham's day at Broome, Tioga? Stay with us. It is a beautiful day for racing in Binghamton, New York. This is round number 10. Right now, let's check in with Cameron Steele.
Well, right behind me is the number 54 bike, the Subway Racing team member, Jason Thomas. We're getting ready for motor number 2, but what I wanted to tell you is that motor number 1, Jason had a bad break. A bolt came out of his clutch perch. He wasn't able to pull the clutch in. He lost a couple laps. So what we're going to do right now is do something good for him. We're going to tell you a little bit more about him as we go outside the lines with Jason Thomas.
Hey guys, I'm Jason Thomas, racing for Subway Racing, and this is my limo that I carry my bike around in. I'm going to show you guys around today and show you what it takes to live the life of a privateer. My dad raced pro, and you know, he pushed me to race pretty much from birth. You know, I got my first bike for my 2nd birthday. There's too many hard days when, you know, it'd be too easy to quit if you didn't love what we're doing. You know, I can't really think of anybody that races that doesn't do it for the love of it, you know, whether they're making $5 million a year or whether they're paying to do it. We're here at my parents' house, and this is where I grew up, and I want to give you guys a look at, you know, basically where I grew up my whole racing amateur career, and so you guys come check it out. This is a plaque from 1995. Tim Ferry's actually on it, and I didn't know him at the time, and I kind of looked up to him my whole life. And now we're really good friends, so it's kind of cool. Every time I see it, I kind of look back at, you know, the change now. And this was my first Canadian National. I got 2nd, and it was kind of a different experience trying to win the race instead of racing for 10th like I am down here. You know, it's a whole different deal. I want people to just respect me for racing and know that, you know, I can succeed at this. I think it's the toughest sport in the world, and to be ranked in the top 10 or 20 in that sport it's an accomplishment for anybody. This is a picture from Loretta Lynn's that same year in 1995. It was the first year I really did well at Loretta's. I was running, you know, the top 5 all week, and it kind of gave me a lot of motivation. I realized I could really, you know, do well racing motorcycles. This room's got pretty much a little piece of history from every year I raced. You know, it's got, I'm really proud of this one. This was a a USA deal. We went to New Zealand and won a Supercross championship down there for our country. And I don't know, this was my helmet from last year, and I wore this helmet at the my best ever finish in Supercross last year, so I was always remember this helmet. This is kind of my dad's deal right here. He raced pro before I was even born, so you know he knows a lot about racing, and he kept some of his jerseys to put in here, and it's kind of a family room. You know, our whole lives are about racing, so it's pretty cool. Realistically, for me, winning's not you know, not really possible for me right now. You know, maybe if I keep working, you know, down the road in a few years, maybe it will be, but you know, that's just the way it is for me right now. I just have to work and try to do the best I can and do the best I can for my sponsors. This is a track I practice on still, and been riding here for 10 years. This is it. You never know, these kids might be next. Thanks guys for coming out to check out where I came from, and be sure to check out the number 54 Subway Honda this summer.
All right, thanks, Jason. That's pretty cool. He did no mansion, no Porsche, but he's got the stuff that matters, man. The track is dialed in. He's got some memorabilia to remember his career by. The stuff that everybody really needs. Not everybody spends a lot of time in those nice, fancy rooms of a mansion.
Well done, Jason Thomas. That one room, that could be the Thomas Museum. As we get set for Moto number 2 here, as we look at the Suzuki starting grid, Kevin Windham, by virtue of his victory in Moto number 1, will get the first pick in Moto number 2, and the rest of the crew, as we welcome you back to the AMA Chevy Trucks U.S. Motocross Championships from Broome Tioga Sports Complex in Binghamton, New York. This is round number 10. Ricky Carmichael has pretty much dominated the season, but Kevin Windham has certainly been a thorn in his side, picking up 2 overalls and a moto win here today in Moto number 1. It'll be interesting to see what happens in Moto number 2. Does Carmichael rebound, or does Kevin Windham make it stick?
Well, I guarantee you Carmichael's going to come out swinging, but he's better have some big punches to throw because Windham is on his game today.
This is Moto number 2 from Binghamton, and we are off and running. Look for number 14, Kevin Windham. He's on that big 4-stroke trying to get another hole shot. Will he make it 2 in a row? This time it's Ricky Carmichael. As David Bailey predicted, he comes out swinging, but he's got Kevin Windham right behind him. So it's Carmichael and Windham as they go into the first turn.
Man, except for last weekend with Windham's starts, these guys have pretty much been getting all the hole shots all year long. They got it wired. Cement, dirt, it doesn't matter. The crowd, they don't really have to hope for a battle between the 2 best guys. They get that right off the bat. It seems like at every national so far this year.
It's Carmichael in first, Windham in second, Chad Reed on the Yamaha in third, and this time Carmichael trying to check out and away from Kevin Windham. Does not want to leave anything to chance. You can see he's changed into the Black Fox gear after that face full of roost he got from David Villeman. Carmichael leads on board the Honda. Number 4 from Florida, behind him from Mississippi. That's Kevin Windham, number 14. Windham trying a new line this time, David, going to the outside.
Well, this is the section where Ricky was always losing time, and he doesn't get a good approach. Ruins his momentum around the corner, so once again, Kevin applying the pressure at the top of the racetrack. This is the corner where Ricky went down. Windham will square back underneath him. Here they come down the downhill again, just like before.
Windham on the outside, number 14, Carmichael, number 4, picking his way through those ruts, and this time it looks like Windham's got the line, but Carmichael once again dances to the inside, and Windham using the power. Look at the drive up the hill.
Carmichael using the very edge of the racetrack right there. Try to stay just a little bit lower, and Windham putting the pass on him, so Ricky's got to be like, man, what is he going to take today to beat this guy? I think he's just got to stay with him. If he can stay on 2 wheels, he can certainly beat him.
Windham on board the big 4-stroke, using the power coming out of those turns and just driving up and down the hill. Carmichael on the 2-stroke, a little more nimble, trying to dice in and out from Windham, and this is something that Ricky does not want to see, and that's letting the big 4-stroke of Kevin Windham pull him out of these big, sharp ruts.
Look at Ricky, the front of his bike just getting showered with all those rocks. Just next time you're at the batting cages, just imagine being in there, you know, just throw on a little bit of gear and a helmet. Just have about 4 or 5 of those baseballs coming at you at 75 or 90 or however fast they might. Maybe toss some gravel in with that and some dirt, and then try to concentrate. You know, that's what these guys are dealing with. It's the one thing as a viewer you can't really feel is that roost. And you see these guys, they cross over it as much as they possibly can so they don't get hit by it.
Ricky Carmichael, number 4 in second place. Number 14 is your leader, Kevin Windham. Windham picking up the victory in moto number 1. And here comes Carmichael. High risk, high rewards. He is on the gas.
Well, he's doing the same thing Kevin did to him in the first moto. He's just, okay, well, if you want to lead, go ahead, get it out of your system, but I'm still right here. So like Ricky said after the first moto, you know, he tried to put that smile on, but I could see right through that. He's not happy, and he does not want to go down again in this moto and ruin his chances of just staying with Kevin. He knows he's going to have to be in a fight for a half hour, so he's just setting up camp right now and letting Kevin know he's going to have to do a lot more than what he's doing already to pull away and make this any easier.
Well, Ricky Carmichael made an interesting comment to Cameron Steele. He talked about how impressive Kevin Windham's bike is. What are you hearing about the possibility, as we look at this one more time in this pass, of Ricky Carmichael making the jump over the 4-stroke? Well,
It'll happen eventually, but I think he did a lot of riding on it this year, and it didn't suit his style. But I think you can see the riding's on the wall. These 4-strokes are starting to come around. Now Chad Reed having some success with it, and of course that's helped. If Yamaha would have all done that, all those guys, I think Reed wouldn't have had so much trouble with getting his setup dialed in, you know. But everybody is on the 4-strokes now, except Ricky. Look at that. Oh.
Beautiful pass by Carmichael. Dices inside, forces Windham to tap the brake just a little bit, and that's all that Ricky Carmichael needs. Now watch this, David. I'm imagining that Gosler and the rest of the boys are telling him, get away from Windham as fast as you can, and there it is on cue.
Yep, pull away. He's the only 2-stroke. He's leading 4 4-strokes out there. I'm not sure who's further back than the Yamaha guys, but
there's Timmy Ferry, one of those 4-strokes.
All those 450s chasing him down, and it's still not enough. And Ricky got the whole shot as well. The 2-stroke seems to be working just fine.
Welcome back to Broome Tioga Sports Complex in Binghamton, New York. Todd Harris along with the champ David Bailey and Cameron Steele. We're in the midst of moto number 2 in the 250 class, and your leader, number 4, Ricky Carmichael. David, he hasn't been there the whole time. He lost moto number 1 in a battle with Windham right there as he comes into the picture, number 14 on board the Honda. And just recently, Ricky Carmichael starting to check out.
Well, this gives you a really good idea of the gap. And then back to 3rd place as well, coming down the downhill. So it does look like Ricky's starting to pull away. This is the thing I was talking about last week as we go a little further back in the pack and catch up with Lust. You know, I talked about how Ricky just finds a way. Same with James Stewart in the 125 class. Those guys just figure out a way. We look to the inside here by Ezra. But, you know, a lot of guys want to win during the week. They all work hard, but it's what you can do on Sunday, what kind of performance you have. And Ricky, you know, it didn't look like he had enough for Kevin in the first moto. It didn't look like he had enough in the beginning of this moto either, but he's still getting the job done.
Ezra Lust getting past number 10 on board another 4-stroke Honda and Larry Ward. So Larry Ward gets shuffled back to 7th, and here comes another battle for 8th place as the Yamaha comes into view. Here's Lust one more time, David. This is a real dicey section coming down here with a lot of speed, but he's checking up, trying to find the right line.
Well, Larry had, I think, a little smoother line coming down the outside. It's the line that Windham's been using all day. Ezra was just a little bit more aggressive to the inside.
Nick Way and Mike LaRocco. LaRocco on the number 5 Honda. Nick Way in the 27 Yamaha coming into view, and here comes LaRocco. Once again, the Rock does not mind the close quarters.
Just working on him inside and out. He set that up clear back at the top of the hill just to put himself in position for that little square off move, and he just kept going from outside to inside over and over if he had to. There's a beautiful square off move right there. Nick Wade had a chance right there to leave it on a little bit and punt him out to the outside, but Morocco has just had a handlebar in front of him, and he kind of forced Nick into a position where he would have had to clean them both out to make that pass back.
So Ricky Carmichael now is encountering lap traffic. Kevin Windham trying to stay within view of Carmichael. One of the most dangerous things in the sport is letting Ricky Carmichael get away. Meanwhile, number 54, this is Jason Thomas, the feature of our outside the line piece, and a lot of respect for this guy. He goes out there, does it without the big budget, but the love of the sport is certainly there.
Well, you know, I just realized that after watching that piece who his dad is. You know, I remember him, and finally made that connection. I guess I've been under a rock or something, but yeah, I can think of when when Jason rather was riding 250 and 125 in Supercross, pulling the Ironman move and qualifying for both of those classes. He definitely is a hard worker.
Meanwhile, Carmichael continues to lead. We're back to Binghamton after this. And welcome back to round 10 of the AMA Chevy Trucks U.S. Motocross Championship from Broome, Tioga, Binghamton, New York. Todd Harris along with the champ, David Bailey and Cameron Steele. We're in the waning moments of Moto number 2. Ricky Carmichael continues to lead, and Michael Rocco continues to move up through the pack. This is the battle for 7th, and the Rock now encountering Larry Ward, and Ward getting a little swirly as the back end washes out. Michael Rocco able to pass him. Ward keeps the bike running.
Good recovery by Larry. Been around long enough to know how to get going quickly. He's already looking over his shoulder, make sure he's not going to get hit. Still holding off Fonseca, as you can see coming into that picture. Watch his back end, goes just over the berm. If he'd have been able to stay in that for just 2 inches to the right, and that would have been fine. But I still think Mike, it's looking like Mike was going to get around him anyway. But it's cool to see Larry putting up a fight this late in the race, up there and pretty close to Lusk, holding off LaRocco. Still got Fonseca back there. The guy just keeps going and going and going. I'm not sure if he's ever going to stop racing, and I'm not sure that, like LaRocco once said, if there's no reason to stop, then why stop?
Kevin Windham now looking like he is thinking he's not going to get Ricky Carmichael. This is where it all started. Windham had the lead, and Carmichael didn't need much.
Yeah, that one caught me a little bit off guard. I thought Windham had it, and I think he did too, and he just dropped into that outside berm that he was a little bit more comfortable with, and Carmichael, he never lets you breathe. He's always there to take advantage of some mistake.
Meanwhile, Mike LaRocco continues to move up. This guy is like Samsonite luggage. He will not go away, and now Ezra Lusk feeding the wrath of the Rock as LaRocco goes to the outside. Lusk pushes him out. Mike LaRocco trying to move up yet another position. A possible podium here for the second moto.
That was just a good plan. You know, a lot of riders, they can pass good, you know, they're aggressive and all that, but they don't always have the best plan. They just sort of luck into stuff or muscle their way in. But Mike, who has been known to get in there and give you an elbow, has made a lot of his moves today clean, just good planning. He went around the outside of the corner at the top, knowing that would put him on the inside down here. So it's kind of like playing tic-tac-toe. You know, once you get a couple of X's here and there, you got them both ways, and there was nothing Ezra could do right there.
Mike LaRocco, the defending U.S. Open champion, will make his way back to Las Vegas in just a few months. Meanwhile, on the final lap for Ricky Carmichael, I think the celebration has begun. Carmichael has come and done what he has wanted to do, picking up an overall here for the 4th time in a row at Binghamton, New York. And for Carmichael, you know, he didn't panic after that first moto, David. You know, you talked about the phony smile. You know how much Ricky hates to lose. But I think he was already thinking about moto number 2 halfway through that first moto.
Yeah, it's, you know, Ricky just comes from the school of whatever it takes, you know, and like I said, I wasn't that impressed. I think Ricky's letting these guys battle here a little bit. He's going, okay, you guys got another lap, go ahead, fight it out. I won't interrupt any of that. But he just gets the job done. Whatever it takes, he realized he was coming up short, so he just dug a little bit deeper, and that's the thing that he and James Stewart in the 125 class are so skilled at. Windham is awesome, but he doesn't have that little bit of edge at the times when he really needs it, like today.
Carmichael picks up the victory, and by virtue of that, he will get the overall. There are your Honda official results. Carmichael, Windham, Ferry, and Reed, the top 4. Nick Way goes back to 10th place. But what a great race for Kyle Lewis and Paul Carpenter, 11th and 12th. The weather was picture perfect, and the racing was spectacular. Right now, let's check in with Cameron Steele, who's standing by with Kevin Windham.
Well, K-Dub, a 1-2 for second overall. You look a little disappointed. What happened out there?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, after the first moto, you know, I was on an all-time high, and I just got beat. You know, I hear him say it time and time again, you know, or the few times that I have beat him, and no excuses for me either. My bike was working great. I just kept plugging away. He got hung up with some lappers. I kind of caught up with him, and then I blew a berm out bad in the back section, and kind of opened back up and lost motivation, took the wind out of my sails. But that's the way it goes. We'll keep charging, try to finish out the season strong, and looking forward to next year.
Kevin Windham, cool, calm, and collected as we take a look at the Honda official overall results. Carmichael goes 2-1 and picks up the overall victory, followed by Windham, Tim Ferry, and Chad Reed. A great day for all the competitors and a great day for the spectators. Let's send it back down to Cameron, who's with Ferry.
Well, Red Dog, 3rd in this moto, 3rd overall, a good performance. I saw you looking down at your bike after the moto. What was going on? Your knee brace ripping up your bike?
I think I just hit the shifter in. It was hitting my cases and making it kind of hard to shift. But those guys are actually just riding really good. And I stayed with them at the beginning. I sprinted with them, but they had a little bit more at the end.
How tough was this track today?
It's a really tough track for me. I didn't do very well last year. I think I finished like 18th overall, a lot of crashes. So I'm not used to this slippery dirt and rocky dirt, and I'm really happy to come out with 3rd.
Nice finish today, Timmy.
Yeah, thank you.
Looking at the overall standings, you can see Ricky Carmichael's 63-point lead. He can clinch it next week at Delmont and wrap up the title. Right now, let's send it back down to Cameron, who's with RC.
Well, guys, another amazing performance by RC Ricky Carmichael. Check out these stats: 36 250 outdoor national wins and 95 wins overall. Ricky, you look like you're in awesome shape. You're just running away right through the end of the moto.
Yeah, I put in some really good laps at the end of the moto. Kevin was riding good. I got the whole shot, and he got by me, and then I was able to get back by him really quick and rode a hard race. He's riding good, but it's awesome to beat him heads up like that.
You know, going back to Moto 1, how bad do you hate getting second place? I mean, you love to win.
I mean, everybody loves to win, but, you know, it's fun racing, you know, and just because I don't win every time, it's no big deal, you know. I do love to win, but nobody can win everything, and I tell you, it's fun to do battle like that and have some, you know, have a rival like that.
You guys going back and forth was awesome to watch. I look forward to getting to Steel City. That's going to be a great race.
It's going to be really good. It's a little tighter, and my kind of track. I'm looking forward to it, but Kevin will be really good there also. So it should be interesting. Hopefully the weather will be good, and we'll see what happens.
I bet you wish it to be good and hot, right?
Well, definitely, but you know, all in all, we want to be consistent next weekend and try to wrap up that title.
Closing in on a great job, Rick.
Thanks. Good to see you again this weekend.
So for the Rockstar Cameron Steele and the champ David Bailey, I'm Todd Harris saying so long. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.